You could be burning hundreds of millions of tokens if you're producing just slop and you're not really producing net gains in efficiency and quality. They get it directly from AI vendors, or it's bundled in with another SaaS product. So I think it's hard to identify all of the sources of AI spend. And it's also a very utilization driven cost generally. So it's hard to understand, when people will drive more usage, therefore more cost. You have to look at projects and goals and so on. I think it's just a really complex multi-driver cost problem that is it's really hard to wrap your head around. So you need tooling and instrumentation and ways to basically tease apart all of the activities that are driving costs. There are products like Suplari that can help you go and find your AI spend, which is probably a great way to start. I think building out some perspective, what is your current belief that your AI spend is, and then being able to go and measure that objectively with products like Suplari and identify where you're aligned or not and why. I think that's a really great way to think about it. And I think getting intentional about, the overall AI spend, even that's a discussion because as you mentioned, there's shadow spend coming and probably for good reasons. So I think basically acknowledging all of the current utilization and drivers for that and building a realistic model of what your AI spend is and all of the associated risks and budget increments that would drive it, I think is a really good way for folks to think about it, because I do think a lot of companies don't really understand. It can grow so quickly because I think people, as they're successful, want to just consume it more because it's going to help them do their job. Especially over the last quarter or 2 quarters, we've seen many customers have really sharp spikes in AI spend growth. So really now is the time to really start putting your checks and balances in place and get a handle on it. There's a better and deeper reporting in terms of invoices that come in from your vendors, I think is something that people should demand. Let's break out the components of typically you'll see a good breakdown from cloud vendors, Microsoft and AWS, but from SAP, from Salesforce, and from other vendors, I think, demanding to see line item level breakout of the AI components in the invoice is a good thing to push back on. And if not, then build an allocation model where you can split out costs and recognize AI. And then that could become a conversation with your vendor, basically to show back what you're looking for in terms of the detailed reporting and validating with your consumers within your organization. Basically, until you get detailed level, accurate invoice level stuff, build your own with an allocation model that you can verify with your consumers. For every product, you have a line item in vendor invoice, building out a notion of what the total AI component would be, and then being able to allocate to match what that is. I think you're basically looking at a percentage, cutout of line items that map to believe the AI would be. And that's something that I think you can work with your vendor and your CSMs to validate, but also to understand from your consumers. So like if you have an owner for a product, that should be a conversation where they're included so they can build out the initial allocation model with you to show the breakout. Unless you're getting like token level reporting from your vendor, you're looking at basically a percentage cutout. Being able to connect the spend with usage and work product is the answer. To be able to come back and say, okay, we've developed these key metrics, right? There's metrics within procurement that you can prove that procurement is running faster, like quicker cycle times, contract renewals that are happening quicker, data quality improvements. And those are metrics that procurement can gather and connect to AI consumption with Suplari and show back really accurate ROI for procurement. If you could budget for AI, which would be, I think, ultimately the holy grail of this whole thing, and be able to measure that to the actuals would be incredible. Hey, I invite you all to go to Suplari.com, learn more about our product. We've got some great content up there, including the AI readiness white paper, partnered with Procurement Tactics to deliver. That we'd love to talk to you and help you understand how to adopt AI in procurement, how to deliver real value, and reach out to us at Suplari.com. We'd love to hear from you.